Hello, dear friends. Here we are. This is the Medium's Harvest, and this is the day 44 because we're studying chapter 44 of the book Seara dos Médiuns, The Medium's Harvest by Emmanuel through Xavier. We're studying this book to understand more about mediumship, to understand more about ourselves, and to transform our lives. Our planet is evolving, and is evolving to a beautiful direction, a direction of regeneration, when we realize mostly that we no longer want to keep those old conditionings. And we actually would like to open ourselves up to the new. What is the new? The new of service, new when we not only think about ourselves, but think of others. When we commit our lives day in, day out to embracing the needs of everyone and cooperate with everyone. Shall we, friends? Today it's about being a medium. What a special topic. Many people are like, I want to be a medium, I want to be a medium, I'm a medium, what do I do? What do I do next? What does it mean to be a medium? Finally, Emmanuel, in chapter 44, he almost at the halfway through the journey of the book, The Medium's Harvest. As a wonderful educator, he is now solidifying the definition of medium. And what is it? Well, to read his dissertation, we first need to read the chapter, or at least the excerpt in the Medium's book that inspired our dear Emmanuel. Shall we? This is item 223 of the Medium's book, which encompasses chapter 19, the role of mediums, and 223, there are several questions and answers by Kardec to the spirits, and this is specifically question and answer 10. Kardec asked to the spirits, do these explanations imply that the spirit of the mediums is never completely passive? Okay, he's asking this due to a previous question and answer, okay? The answer of the spirit is, the spirit of the medium is passive when it does not mix its own ideas with those of the communicating spirit. But it is never completely nullified. The cooperation of the spirit of the medium is indispensable as an intermediary, even in so-called mechanical mediums. Wow. Is it surprising? Yes, because there are many people who claim that mediums are like horses, that spirits mount and they do whatever they like, not according to the teachings of Spiritism. And the teachings of Spiritism are not dogmatic. They're actually quite scientific. There is like research, there is evidence, and the evidence here tells us that the spirits that communicate through the mediums will depend quite a lot on the medium's attitude. How so? So that's when Emmanuel tonight leads us. Let us visualize ourselves in a beautiful classroom with Emmanuel as a wonderful, wise teacher coming to us and making us feel these scriptures so we can once and for all we make a decision to lead our lives in this direction. Chapter 44, Being a Medium by Emmanuel. This was written by him through Xavier, the medium, in a public meeting on June 17th, 1960, based on item 223, paragraph 10 of the Medium's book by Kardec. Emmanuel then wrote the following. When embracing mediumship, many companions on earth adopt the position of absolute expectation, copying the inertia of the mannequins. They focus mentally while being immobile and nullified. They await the manifestation of the superior spirits, forgetting that the true servant takes the initiative of kindness in the pettiest domestic activity. Let us observe the logic of daily life. An office director will not require that the assistant becomes a human encyclopedia in order to receive the cooperation. But the director will ask that the assistant be an orderly and industrious person with the necessary experience in matters of writing. A physician will not demand a certificate of moral greatness from the nurse in to accept the assistant of the nurse. However, the physician will expect the nurse to be industrious and sensible with the precise dedication to the sick people. The owner of a bus will not use the help of the pharmacist in the workshop, but the owner will be looking for a driver who not only knows how to use the steering wheel, but also help the owner maintain the car well. The pharmacist then will not use the attention of a driver in the pharmacy, but the pharmacist will look for a collaborator who not only knows how to sell medicine, but also helps to fill in the prescription. Each worker should remain their own field of knowledge, although interdependence is the regimen of life appointed to all. To be a medium is to be a helper of the spiritual world, and to be a helper in a particular job is to be someone who helps spontaneously, relieving the minds of those responsible. If you cannot understand it, watch the airplane, however simple it is. Everything is intelligent support and mechanical action in the air convoy. The observation towers clarify the route, and vigorous engines guarantee the march. However, everything can fail in case the aviator's understanding and discipline fails. Wow. It's quite surprising in many ways, because Emmanuel, he not only clarifies, but he deepens the concept to non-expected ways. First of all, he says, being a medium, he uses the expression, embracing mediumship. There are many mediums we know of, they have not embraced their mediumship. They're still like, yeah, I know I'm a medium, but what can I do? You know, my job, my family, my things. You're a medium, and that means your life shall be heading towards a different awareness. Mediums, ostensible mediums, people who already observed that their lives, the sixth sense, is evidently capturing things. They cannot live a life like everybody else. Not because they are not normal, but because they can capture much more than other people. So it requires from them a different understanding and different discipline, or at least some form of discipline. So first question to all of us now is, have I really embraced my mediumship? And what is to embrace our mediumship? No wonder many people think that, oh, there is Professor Eurípides Barçanufo, there is Chico Xavier, there is Evaldo Franco, there is Ivone Pereira, Amália Domingo Soler, but Vanessa, come on. I'm just like anybody else. I don't think so. Because all of them were also apparently like anybody else. But once they observed that was popping up, they changed their lives. Inevitably. But it's our choice. The superior spirits will not tell you. You need to do it voluntarily. The good spirits, one of their characteristics is they do not impose. They invite, they suggest, they warn, but they do not impose. And many people, because they are very childish, they are waiting for that voice to be impositional. If you don't do this, something else is going to happen. The good spirits don't do that. The good spirits, they are actually quite friendly, soothing, though firm. So first of all, we need to embrace. And second, we need to be proactive. Because the opposite of being this inertia of the mannequins is to be a proactive medium. What is to be a proactive medium? A medium that is disciplined. A medium that exercises discernment. You are not a robotic medium. And let me just answer this question to Sunshine. Thank you, Sunshine, for asking. She's asking, what is the definition of mechanical mediums like Kardec mentioned here? Kardec mentioned in the Medium's book and inspired Emmanuel's chapter today. Mechanical mediums are said to be those mediums who bring their mediumistic abilities without the consciousness of the medium. Things happen, they don't know that this is happening, they are not aware. Well, even in those cases, the mediums are playing a role in the communication. That's what Kardec meant. Okay? How so? Like this. Not by having knowledge, but by helping. And I say knowledge in the sense of like, if a spirit comes to me and says, we're going to write something quite scientific, I don't need to go to the library and read all the books before the spirit comes to me and delivers a message through me. Being a good medium, to be a medium, he doesn't even say to be a good medium. He says to be a medium is to be a helper of the spiritual world. But why is he not saying good medium? Because it's implied in the definition that it's the good medium. Because the bad mediums, we know who they are. Kardec already defined. The spirits actually defined. The good mediums are the ones that are easy in the hands of the good spirits. So Emmanuel is already implying that this medium here is a good medium. To be a medium is to be a helper of the spiritual world. So if the spiritual world says, go start a study session on Facebook Live with X book, reading to people and explaining to them. And I doubt it. I think, oh my, but that's strange. I think that's vanity. I think that's, why me? Why me? I'm gonna do this. Who am I? No, let somebody else do this. This is not for me. No, maybe I should ask Divaldo Franco if I should do this. Maybe I should write an email to Godinho at the Brazilian Spiritist Federation asking if it's appropriate to really do this. Does it make sense? You see, this is the rationale of majority of people who are, I'm not going to say majority because that's probably too much, but many people in the Spiritist movement nowadays. They listen to the spirits. They don't have a good interaction with their good spirits. They are still so materialistic. They still rely upon much more on the material, the incarnates, than the discarnates. And we're not saying go listen to it and do whatever. But we have inside of us, and especially boosted, it's a feature of our brain, discernment. Brain, quote unquote, it's of the mind expressed in the brain, in the prefrontal cortex. Discernment. We need to use our discernment. What does my discernment says? Well, does it make sense? Well, I cannot be everywhere in the world. So, well, we have a radio. It makes sense that we're going to share studies of books that need to come to life in English because we're delayed. And people need it because they're forming their groups. Why not sharing it? We're just sharing. We're not creating ideas. It's not a new fashion. It's not vanity. It's actually service. It's actually an opportunity to be in solidarity with people. So then my discernment is telling me, I don't trust blindly what the mentors say. And that's what Emmanuel is saying. You think with the spirits. They say, the helper is someone who helps spontaneously relieving the minds of those who are responsible. So who is responsible for these works that we're doing right now together? The good spirits. And they can rest assured that we're going to follow through religiously what they've asked us to do. They said, read, translate, study, prepare, and then say hi, read the messages, break it down together, say hello, wrap it up, and prepare for next day. That's it. Simple, straightforward, but we're obeying what makes so much sense. What is giving lives to lives. So, to be a medium is to be a helper of the spiritual world. To be a medium is to be a helper of the spiritual world. Let's repeat it. To be a medium is to be a helper of the spiritual world. To be a medium is to be a helper of the spiritual world. To be a medium is to be a helper of the spiritual world. This is what Emmanuel is explaining to us. And that's why André Luiz comes and teaches us to see life in two worlds. I no longer see myself as an incarnate being. I, like Professor Euripides Barçanufo, says Corina Novellino in some of her books, he lived like an incarnated spirit. Many people on the earth are not living like incarnate spirits. They are not. They are not. Because they forget that they are not going to last forever in this body. But that's an illusion of the mind. But sooner or later, we won't be here physically, but we'll keep on living. And we're still fighting and struggling for little things that are so petty. And Emmanuel is saying, you're a medium. If you're a helper of the spiritual world, that means you're a medium. If you meet a friend anywhere, and this friend is not feeling well, and you become the spokesperson of the guardian angel of that person, giving encouragement, inspiration, you are a helper of the spiritual world. If you are at a business meeting, and I'm just giving examples, if you are at a business meeting, fully aware that beyond what the physical eyes can see, the material realm, there are many discarnate spirits, and let's focus on the superior ones, the guardian angels. The guardian angels of each and every person in that business meeting is willing to help them fulfill their duty. And if you are aware of it, and you are prayerful in your mind, in your heart, and you're willing that you'll be the one, the gatekeeper of joy, open and look at people, child of God, child of God, child of God, child of God. I am not afraid of you because you're a child of God. How many people, because of instinctive tendencies we have of preservation, we are afraid of people. We're afraid of one another. But why being afraid if everybody's a child of God? As Corina Novellino says about Professor Eurípides Barçanufo, he was so reverent to God that he easily recognized the value of each and every person. And he usually concluded that when I find the greatness of God, I easily recognize the value, the worth of everyone, because everyone's God's creation. How can I dare to despise a life? How can I dare to despise a life? A life created by God. Food for thought. So, to be a medium is to be a helper of the spiritual world, says Emmanuel. Right, Nelissa? Thank you. Let's keep this in mind as a mantra and as a way for us to shift our daily attitude. I'm home with my family. The guardian angel of my husband, of the child, of my friend, my neighbor, everybody is waiting for us to cooperate with them, which is chapter 3 of the book Thought and Life that we started exactly a year ago, study sessions here at Cardiac Radio. That's when we did the Thought and Life studies at Cardiac Radio, precisely a year ago. And chapter 3 of the book Thought and Life talks about cooperation being our law of life. You are the co-pilot, and God is the pilot. God is the pilot. You want to be the co-pilot? If you do, you're wearing the uniform of a helper. So we need to consciously wake up and say, I'm a co-pilot of God. I am a helper of the spiritual world. The good, of course. Of the good. And to be a helper, again, Emmanuel says, is to be someone who helps spontaneously. Do you, children are always waiting for parents to say, go take a shower, let's eat, But when we grow mature, we don't wait anymore for people to tell us what to do. Duty. Duty is in one of the chapters of the Gospel According to Spiritism, Be Perfect, as a virtue. When I grow mature, I spontaneously do things. Some people are like, but I was waiting for you to call. I was waiting for somebody to tell me. But when you're a helper, you don't wait. You observe and you already know where to help. And that's exactly what Emmanuel is telling us. So he's calling us to grow mature and to be responsible. Responsible. He says here, maybe the big plane, as he says, and the pilot, as we're talking about pilots. Of course, we depend on the machine, but more than anything else, we depend on the pilot. And what? The understanding and the discipline. The understanding and the discipline. I like the definition that when we understand, we don't need to forgive. I don't need to forgive anybody when I understand why people did X, Y, Z things. As Jesus said once to Peter, people are more fragile than evil. Often people make mistakes not knowing what they are doing. We make mistakes not knowing what we're doing. And that's why we need to practice understanding. Understanding why that person did this. There must be a reason, friends. A mother does not abandon a child out of sanity. There is some form of mental imbalance, hurt, a wound that is so deep that she cannot see. She cannot hear. But all the cases show to us how they regret later, and we feel for them. As Jesus said, if they just knew what they are doing, but we don't know. We don't know. So our homework is first to keep the mantra, to be a helper. To be a medium is to be a helper of the spiritual world. And second is to open ourselves, our hearts, to see how we can help. How can I help spontaneously, growing mature, observing people's needs, observing what the spiritual realm wants us to do? Otherwise, we're just going to be like little kids, babies, toddlers, with their parents. Their parents are focused on what to do, and they're like, I want to play. I don't want to eat. I don't want to take a shower. And majority of adults are like this. The guardian angels are saying, take a shower, do a prayer. And you're like, I want to play. Go eat your meal. Read that book that I told you. That's your nourishment. He's saying kindly, right? But we're like, I just want to call my friends and chat the whole night. This is us. We're not helping the spiritual world. So we really need to focus. How can I be a helper of the spiritual world? This is what a medium is all about. Spontaneously. Okay? Tonight we're graduating, we're giving ourselves, and if you're listening to this during the day, it's today. If you're listening to this on demand, big hug to you. And we apologize if we cannot reply to everybody. But We're watching your comments. We're grateful to everybody who is cooperating and helping address the issues, the Cardiac Radio's team, and everybody who is joining forces. But being a medium is to be a helper of the spiritual world. And being a helper means to spontaneously help, giving some rest to those who are the head of the work. Shall we, friends? Hello, Rose Neves Greg. How are you? Happy New Year. Thank you, Carol, for your kindness. Thank you. Nora Brazil, how are you? Nelissa, we miss you. Thank you for being with us. Rudy, we're grateful and paying attention on YouTube. Thank you so much. Beautiful Sunshine, how are you? Beautiful Daniela, I have to reply to your message, but big hug to you. Happy New Year. Thank you, Daniela. Thank you, Sunshine. John Da Rosa, my friend of the heart. And here we have Julija meditating on these first days of the year. Beautiful, beautiful, Julija. Aline, beautiful Aline, how are you? Sunshine, Laura Colihi, and Alberto, big hug to both of you. Ceisa, my friend, how are you? Nina Dewey, how are you and the family? Narciso, my friend, big hug to you. Paula, we will talk, right? But a big hug to you, Antoni. Raquel Bakeshi, how are you? My friend Rafael Medeiros, a big hug to you, Rafael. Angelita, Fraternity Without Borders. Here we have Adriana Sanchez Monteiro. Thank you for being with us on this live session. Though we wish you all the best, also, and all the ones who watch on demand, because we understand, right? Lea Severo, my friend, my sister of the heart too. Rihanna, beautiful Rihanna and Nico. Karina Lisi, focus, always focus. Adilson, a brother of the heart, thank you so much. And Teresa Castro, how are you? So for those who are coming in, Happy New Year to you too. Happy New Year. So, embracing mediumship, we cannot be passive. We need to be proactive. And proactive means disciplining ourselves, being helpers of the spiritual world. To be a medium is to be a helper of the spiritual world and help spontaneously, giving some rest to those who are guiding us. Shall we? Let's make life easier for these beautiful guardian angels. Beautiful guardian angels. And now, tomorrow, as we come to halfway of this book, wow, Emmanuel, titles, chapter 45, Imagine, and he's gonna sing John Lennon's Imagine All the People. It's kind of to that direction, okay? As a teaser, he says, imagine, that's how he begins, huh? Imagine everything that he's going to say tomorrow, and you feel your heart in immense pain when you see the discarnate spirits sleeping in illusions. Really? So tomorrow, it's a lesson for the heart. Compassion. A medium who wants to help needs compassion. Where are we in our compassion? But don't worry about it now. Our exercise in the next 24 hours is to consciously and spontaneously be a helper of the spiritual world. Shall we, friends? Wherever you are in the world, a big hug. And a hug, and let us be very focused during this day, helping the spiritual realm. Big hug, friends, and until tomorrow.